joining us today on the Man Blitz. I'd just like to take a moment to remind you to follow us on Twitter at Man Blitz. Visit us at www.freemanblitz.com. You can listen to us on Anchor, Spotify, Google Podcast, Breaker. And don't forget to view us on YouTube. Make sure you subscribe and hit the like button. Thanks, guys. Hey, everybody, and welcome into the Man Blitz. I'm your boy, Andrew, and with me, as always, is Jeremy and Kwesi. Say what's up, gentlemen.
What's good, folks?
Don't laugh at me. Boys are giving me a hard time today. Y'all giving me a hard time.
You get the black label, bro?
It's double black.
Shut your mouth.
Why is it going to be black?
Double black.
Ooh,
Why is it going to be double black?
You go black, you don't go back, bro.
Jeremy went black. Let's be real. All right, so per tradition,
Apple, baby.
Per tradition, we are going to go ahead and take a drink, and then we're going to talk about some college football because we know that's what y'all want to hear.
We're going to take a shot. Okay.
A drink.
I'm just making mine. Oh, shit. Check this shit out. It's not football related at all. Look at this wacky ass shit I found today.
Mountain Dew melon?
Yeah, watermelon. I'm sorry, it's called Major Melon. But it's watermelon. Shit's good.
Jeremy likes major melons. I'll remember that. Remember that next time I go Christmas shopping for you guys. So before we dive into this thing, speaking of Christmas shopping, gentlemen, I'm going to go ahead and show you your Christmas presents because I don't want to expect you to hold on to them for a week before we actually do another show, and I want them revealed on the show. So, Kwesi, you're going to go first. You're going to go first, Kwesi.
Isn't he sweet?
I got you something.
My God. Are you going to unwrap it for us, too?
He told us this?
He told me.
No.
He
It's all
didn't
part
tell
of the
you.
surprise.
He didn't tell me. That's good, man. That's real good. What's it say?
The dog on the field,
buried the dog where? Kwesi,
Oh.
I got you 2 posters, bud. I love you, guy.
Thank you, man. Appreciate you, brother.
You said you got him 2 posters? What's the other poster?
They're the same. They're doubles. So he could hang them up wherever he wants. He needs a little something in his background there. It's kind of naked.
I like that.
Yeah.
Freaking naked.
All right.
That's all titty.
Gents. So, man, we had a crazy weekend in college football. You guys, I'm assuming everybody watched the playoff games. Otherwise, you wouldn't be watching our show. But because that would mean you're kind of dumb. But
Wow. You're just going to say if they didn't watch it, they're dumb.
You didn't watch it, you're dumb.
Wow.
Thanks for watching. You guys are stupid.
Shut your mouth hole so I can talk. With the playoffs entering their final game, many college players have already announced their intentions for the draft. Are there any notable names thus far or any that shock you? Jeremy, go.
There's a lot of notable ones. There's a few that are shocking. I stuck more to just the ones that I look to go first or second round, the guys that have enough talent to actually impact a lot of teams. I just chose one offense, one defense. I picked the linebacker from Missouri, Nick Bolton. For the guys, I don't think there's probably any Missouri fans out there that are watching this. But a lot of SEC
any Missouri
fans?
There's one. We know him.
We know a Missouri fan?
Yeah.
Who?
What's his name?
It's not Missouri no more.
Yeah.
Stingray.
Stingray. Well, yeah, he used to be Texas A&M, right? Now he's
No. He used to be Mississippi State. And then he was
that's right.
Missouri.
So now it's Missouri.
I think he's went back to Mississippi State.
What?
I don't know.
But it was in his blood. You could kind of tell when we talked to him.
Whatever. Anyway, but the dude's real talented, so you can go watch a YouTube video on him or something. He's legit
Stingray or Nick
linebacker.
Bolton?
Come on, man. Nick Bolton, not Stingray. I already forgot Stingray's name. And then the wide receiver I chose was Texas A&M, Jamon Osborne.
Yep.
The dude is super talented. I think he'll do real good. At my door? No. And then a little honorable mentions, Chuba Hubbard or Chuba Hubbard.
Did you say that right?
Chuba. I always called him Chuba, but it's Chuba.
Chuba Hubbard.
Chuba. I like calling him Chuba. Anyway, that's the running back from Okie State. State.
Michael Sweeney says he likes melons too.
Melons are nice.
Thank you, Matt Ash, for tuning in. Mike Sweeney, Caitlin, my wife's watching. She's talking crap. Football's the devil, Bobby Boucher. Okay.
Bobby Boucher.
All right. Kwesi, you got anybody you want to talk about?
Yeah, I got a wide receiver out of Minnesota. I know we don't have many Minnesota fans on here, do we? Any Minnesota fans?
I doubt it.
I've never met a Minnesota fan.
Yeah, I don't think I ever met anybody from Minnesota. No, not even Prince. You know what I'm saying? But I have Rashard Bateman.
Oh, I like Bateman.
He's a beast out of Minnesota. I've seen him do his games. Outstanding hands, quickness. I think he'll be like a Justin Jefferson, which he'll go down in the draft, but I think he'll still do very well in the NFL. So, and I have a Trey Lance, quarterback out of South Dakota State. I know we have our South Dakota State fans over here.
Yeah. No. Maybe.
Oh, maybe.
I want to see that guy play because I'm not getting to see him play once, and I've seen him on pretty high up on all draft boards.
Yeah.
So.
And I think not when they draft, when you do what do you call when they tryout stuff?
The combine.
The combine.
The combine.
That was literally our first episode. Was literally the combine. You don't even remember what it was called.
That was a long time ago.
Yeah, exactly. I think he will do well if he does well in the combine. That's going to definitely help him out. So, but
Yes.
I've heard high things on him. I think he might even go into the first round. So that'll be a good steal for any team.
All right. The only guy I really want to mention is old Zach Wilson out of BYU. Yeah,
Babyface Wilson.
Yeah, he has been absolutely lighting it up this season, putting on a show for everybody. And I just want to ask you guys real quick. I didn't script this or anything, but of the quarterbacks that we assume are going to be going in the draft, you got like Mac Jones, you got Kyle Trask, got Trevor Lawrence, Justin Fields, and then you got a guy like Zach Wilson. Would you take those guys over Zach Wilson, or would you slip him in there in that lineup somewhere?
I think it greatly depends upon the combine for somebody like Zach Wilson, but I don't think there's a shadow of a doubt. I've seen some people after the playoff game saying that Justin Fields maybe now should be the number one, but I don't think anybody's taking Fields over Trevor Lawrence right now. But as far as Zach Wilson, I think he's a guy that's going to have to really shine. To me, he's like a second rounder.
Yeah,
maybe lower. He's good
definitely. I think it's still Trevor Lawrence going number one, but will help Zach Wilson is how he does in the Columbia. Is it Columbia? No, the Columbine.
Bro,
no,
come on, Kwesi.
How well he does in the Combine. It might push him to 2 instead of Justin Fields. But again, I think that Lawrence is going to be number 1. But if Zach Wilson shows out in the Combine, he's going to be number 2.
All right, moving forward. Now we're going to talk about that Clemson.
Columbine.
We're going to talk about that Clemson Ohio State game. Nothing to do with Columbine because Queasy's a dum-dum. Okay. Jeremy, with a stunning loss by Clemson in a game that they were never actually in from the start, like only at the very beginning was it even competitive. Where do they go from here? What happened in that game to Clemson, and to what do you attribute Ohio State's success?
Yeah, so where they go from here, they just continue on with what they've been doing. I mean, they've been in every college football playoff every season. I mean, I know they're losing Trevor Lawrence, but I think we saw their backup. I can't pronounce his name. It's like DJ Louie. But he did really well. So I know that you're losing maybe one of the best college quarterbacks in the game, but I don't think you're dropping off that much. I think where Ohio State really got after them is they started really fast. I think it basically just boiled down to they could do just about anything they wanted to Clemson. Clemson played on their heels on defense. Their defense couldn't come up with an answer. They couldn't blitz effectively enough to get after Justin Fields. You know, he got out of the pocket. He was throwing dimes. He wasn't, earlier in the season in their 5-6 games, he was kind of inaccurate, and even in the game against Northwestern, he didn't look great. You know what I mean? But he looked great in that game. That's why people were lofting him up, because they were playing against each other, saying that he could be the number 1 quarterback, and he's definitely talented and definitely did really good. He had 6 touchdowns in that game, by the way.
Well, Caitlin says Clemson got their little orange booties whipped.
They did. I mean, they really did. They got.
It's about right.
I think what happened is whatever their game plan was with Clemson, I'm sure they wanted to run the ball more. They only gave the ball to Travis Etienne 10 times, but, Ohio State scored, and they scored really fast. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
it took Clemson out of their game plan, and Ohio State was able to dominate early, and they were able to dictate pace, and, that's what happens. They had no answer. They couldn't come back.
All right. So,
Very
Kwesi.
disappointed on how that happened.
Yeah.
Very disappointed.
Yeah, me too. Me too.
I was definitely hoping for a better game. I wasn't expecting that. And I don't care what Dabo said. They should have been ranked 11, blah, blah, blah. It was definitely probably at least top 3 teams in the playoffs. And I think Ohio State was one of those teams. But still, I wasn't expecting that.
I'm surprised you haven't heard more people crying about what we thought they were going to, that Ohio State hasn't had as much injury. They're not as tired because they've only played those 6 where Clemson's played a full.
I was about to ask you about that. Do you have anything to add to that narrative? Do you believe in that narrative at all? Do you think it had anything to do with the game, or is it just Ohio State showed up and Clemson didn't?
I think it basically comes down to they whipped him. I mean, I don't think that they were more fresh, honestly. Anybody that says that, I mean, you can only get so fresh, right? I mean, once you're rested, you're rested. Like, I don't think anybody on Clemson's team was out there dragging, or you could tell they just went through a game 3 days earlier or 5 days earlier. And you know what I mean? They looked like a team that had rested. I mean, you know what I mean? I didn't see it. So, I mean, maybe they had some attrition.
I think these two teams, if they played over and over again, it would be a 50-50 kind of game. I think they could beat each other. Like that. So it wasn't. I don't think Ohio State was that. I can dominate Clemson every single time. I don't think that. No,
I don't think they were so glaring.
It was just their day and their game.
They were able to dictate early, and I think that's a big deal. The team that makes the fewest mistakes. And
oh my God! Michael Sweeney commented and said, how do you make Clemson cookies? Put them in a sugar bowl and beat them for 3 hours. Bro, that's rough. That's rough.
That's good. I like that.
I'm going to remember that. Kwesi over here shaking his head. All right. So,
needless to say, Kwesi doesn't care. He's very upset because Ohio State's now in the national championship.
Yes.
I don't blame him.
Yes.
Oh, man. All right. So, Kwesi, with Notre Dame's 6th straight embarrassing loss, all by 2 touchdowns or more, in a BCS or playoff game dating all the way back to 2006, what lesson does this teach us, if any at all?
It's not going. It teaches us this again. It's about money, because unfortunately, I think even if Notre Dame's remotely good again next year, they will be put back into the playoffs.
Remotely good. I like that. That's what they were. Remotely good.
I think Texas A&M could have been in there. Oklahoma sure they could have been in there. Cincinnati probably could have been in there. There was some very tough teams that I think could probably easily beat Notre Dame. So they shouldn't have been in there. I don't think there's any lesson learned because they still got their money. They don't care how bad they lose. They still got their money.
Chris Wagner says Notre Dame sucks genitalia. That's his answer to the question.
Hey, I like that. And I think they don't want, tough competition for that number 1 seed in a sense, if that makes any sense. They don't want to knock that team off, because if that team gets knocked off, whoever it may be, whether it's Clemson or Alabama, that team gets knocked off, then it's really like, who's really going to watch this? Because you're really hoping for that, man.
Could you imagine if it was Notre Dame and Ohio State?
Man,
bro. That would never happen. It would never happen.
It almost happened.
That's two teams I hate.
Almost happened, bro. Alabama was not going to let that happen.
I'm just saying, you look at it, it almost happened in the way that if they had won, they would have been in there.
Okay, so you're telling me they were 1 game against Alabama for making this happen, and you're going to call that almost happened? Nah, man.
No,
you wouldn't? I'm not even saying that they would beat them.
Like there's a huge
maybe even 1 out of 10.
Like
the point is they were – Andrew, the point is they were in the game. If they had won the game – they would have been there. I'm not saying they had a chance to win it. You're not on the same page as I am right now.
Because the Berlin Wall was between them and the national championship game, and they weren't getting through it.
The Berlin Wall got tore down, right?
Yeah,
He doesn't.
eventually. Which Alabama will one day eventually.
It was a bad thing for it.
Alabama will eventually fall, but
The
today
Berlin
is not
Wall
that
will
day.
last forever.
Today is not that day.
The wall's impenetrable. Oh crap! It's
Your
coming.
mom wasn't. Okay. Kwesi, continuing on the Alabama talk.
Yes.
How does Alabama outclass good teams such as Notre Dame on the field?
I mean, definitely Alabama is 2 steps ahead of Notre Dame. They're just a great school, recruit very well, great coaching. From their first team to the second team, prior to the third team, they're going to be one of the toughest teams out there to play against. So there's no way to get past that. Just have to, build up your team and get, do what you can. But Notre Dame was no competition against them. And I don't think anybody you would put at 4th, they would probably give a better game, but still wouldn't have won against Alabama.
I think Oklahoma would have been a better game.
No, yeah, Texas A&M would have been a better game. Oklahoma could have been a better.
I think the A&M would have been the best matchup.
Yeah, I think so too.
Yeah, A&M, Oklahoma, Cincinnati, any of those teams I think would have been a better fit.
I think Cincinnati would have got their ass whipped worse than Notre Dame did.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I saw how they played against Georgia, but let's be real.
That's the thing. That first half, they were like on fire. Their offense was like clicking. Then, you know what? We'll get to it in a minute because Kwesi gonna want to talk about that tackle. Anyway, going back to the subject, like how does this affect the playoffs? They're consistent losing year in, year out. Will this game and others like it from the past push us to playoff expansion?
Please.
I'm hoping so. I mean, I think we all want more football.
Yeah.
I think they need to figure out how to work the money and maybe time off for the kids because, again, they're going to have to play more than once in a sense.
Yeah.
So they're going to have time off for those guys to play the game and also scoot them on out, to rest up and play another game. It's not like basketball or baseball. So they're going to do that. But it'd be great to have 8 teams in there.
Well, I mean, that's one thing that Pro Ball definitely has up on college football. We get like weeks of good versus good. These teams that won't even normally play each other in the regular season, some will, some won't. And I mean, we get a playoff game, like a fight for your life. Like if you lose, you're out. You got to keep pushing, keep winning it all. Depends on who's hot, this and that. And that really, in my mind, that's the only thing right now that could really improve college football. Like, man, that would be awesome.
I don't see why they haven't done it yet.
No.
The only thing I've seen that's like a detriment to it or whatever is their argument is that, you can't figure out the bowl games and money. And I'm like, that doesn't make any sense to me. I mean, I don't know, but hey, you're telling me that you couldn't still have the same bowl games and it means something and get better ratings and that would be more money, right? Yeah. Am I missing something?
I mean, it seems simple to us.
Yeah. And as I mentioned, we have bowl games kind of back to back right now.
Mm-hmm.
So if those guys played in those games, they would have to have a week in between those games. So you're talking about starting well before December, well before Christmas.
You're basically just adding an extra week, maybe 2 weeks if
exactly,
the team that makes it. But
like 2 weeks, I think.
It's 2 weeks though. It's 2 weekends. It's not that bad for a team, that's going to be playing for a national title.
No, I think
because everybody else won't be doing it. It's just 2 teams would be playing for the 4. If my math isn't right now, I ain't a mathematician or whatever. I don't do them numbers.
We'll see, man.
Okay.
Definitely need to expand it though. Yeah. I don't think you'll find anybody that's like, I think 4 is the best way.
No,
it's got to be more.
Nobody
it's got to be 8.
That.
I mean, to me, come on, 8. You got the 5 Power 5 conference champions; they get in, and then you get 3 at-large teams. I mean, it's got to be pretty damn perfect to me.
All right, so this one's for both of you gentlemen. Which non-playoff New Year's Six bowl game did you enjoy most, and why? And we had we had Florida, Oklahoma, Georgia, Cincinnati. Let's see, we had Texas A&M and North Carolina. That's 4, and then of course the 2 national championship games.
You say the Georgia,
Cincinnati, yeah.
That was mine, and I was watching it, and I was rooting for Georgia for you, Andrew.
Hey, go Dogs, baby, go Dogs!
It really was, and Cincinnati definitely looked like they at least deserved to be if it was that expanded format. They definitely would have been one of the 3 at-large teams, right? and they played really good. You could tell that was their, as corny as it sounds, that was their national championship game. That was their playoff game. Playing against a big SEC school, you know what I mean? Playing against Georgia, played them down to the wire, and it was a good game because of it. These other games were mostly blowouts. So, did I like seeing Florida lose? Yeah.
I was going to name that one.
But, look at it. You can take it, but, they were missing key players.
I was going to name that one as my favorite.
They were missing key players, though, so it's bittersweet. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Dan Mullen. Ugh.
Well, we're going to get to Dan Mullen here in a few minutes. Kwesi, were there any non-championship New Year's Six bowls that you really enjoyed watching?
No, I like that Cincinnati game. That Cincinnati game was very good, though, man. Top and bottom, it was very good.
It was. It was just a good game. That's what we want. That's what I want to see in a bowl game. I don't give a damn if it was Tulane and South Dakota State. If it's a good game, I'm in it. You know what I mean? I want to see it. I want to see the ups and downs, the back and forths, it being a close game. Yeah. You're over here watching whoever, Oklahoma State beat the crap out of Florida or whoever. That's
okay.
It's cool.
Caitlin commented and said that Georgia-Cincy game was a Heine clincher.
It was.
Hey, that last second, what was it, like a 53-yard field goal from Podlesny? Man, that was something else. He booted that thing, dude.
He did.
Hey, his wife just turned him on.
She did. Hey, y'all.
Hey, I'm gonna be back. I'll be back. Hey, that was code. Heine clincher. Okay.
Oh, I love you, babe. Okay, but Texas A&M, I believe, made a statement with their bowl game for sure. They beat the snot out of North Carolina. North Carolina was a pretty solid team.
Yeah,
they did pretty good.
Yeah,
but
Hey, did you see Chris Widener? What's up, dog? Did you see his comments on here about Alabama getting all those recruits, and that's why they're not going anywhere? Which he's right. I think last episode we talked about it when they did the All-Americans. Alabama had like 6 or 7. And the next closest school had like 2, and then there was a bunch that had 1. Yeah. And that's because they get the number 1 to number 3 class every year. They basically cherry picking whoever they want.
I don't think they've got outside of the top 3 classes in a long time.
Nah, probably not. And if they did, that's just because somebody didn't evaluate the talent properly.
Yeah.
And Caitlin, I know you're a Bama fan, but they're paying them pretty good down there.
Yes, sir.
Hey, listen. We can't. We know they're getting paid everywhere. Let's be real. Georgia pays them
everywhere.
Tennessee, Alabama. You can say what you want. You can say, "Oh, my coach is this, my coach is that." No. It's for real. You just gotta accept it. And I think we just need to find a way to legalize it and keep track of it. That's all we got to do.
Even then, it'll still be basically the same thing because you're going to have people breaking the rules to get more, and that's what they're going to do because that's how they get their, advantage. Nick Saban has like 8 car dealerships, by the way. I don't think people realize this.
I saw one of them.
He owns 8 car dealerships.
Yeah, it's huge.
All his players have new cars. Okay. They just go down and apply for a loan.
His Mercedes dealership, the one going down the interstate down there going by Tuscaloosa, has like a giant glass tower out in front of it with cars stacked up in it. And it's like, what?
Oh, wow.
It's wild, y'all. It's wild.
It's just crazy. NCAA is so crazy.
Oh, my goodness. Okay, guys, it's time for our favorite segment, 4th down. You can punt or you can go for it. I'm going to go in order, Jeremy, then Kwesi.
Gotcha.
All right. Jalen Waddle, my man, the wide receiver from Alabama. Y'all have anything on him?
I heard where he could possibly come back and play in this national championship game.
Do you think that will make a difference?
Yeah. In a difference that let's face it, Alabama's going to be heavily favored against Ohio State. When I say heavily, it's probably going to be like 8 points or something in the spread. Yeah. But I wouldn't be surprised. Yeah, as a bet. And Jalen Waddle's a game changer. So if he's healthy and can be back, when you have who's probably winning the Heisman here in a minute, Devonta Smith, and now you got Jalen Waddle, who easily could have been the better receiver on that team. Yeah, it's a big deal because it's just one extra weapon where they can go down and score every possession.
Exactly.
So I hope in this national championship game that it's going to be a 58 to 54 type game. I want to see
a big shootout,
an explosion of points. Man.
I do.
I don't want to see like the Alabama LSU game of yesteryear, fucking 9-6. Like that game was all fine and good, but
I want to see Ohio State get whooped.
I just want I want the two best teams to play.
And again,
looks
I
like
think
the way it is.
they're one of the top 3 teams. I'm not gonna knock them. I think one of the top 3 teams, but they shouldn't have been in the playoffs because they didn't play enough games. They could have resolved that earlier on, but they decided not to and to change the rules for them.
Who was it that they bumped? Was it Indiana? Wasn't it Indiana that was going to be in that game? Indiana, when they played their bowl game, they ripped off their Big Ten patch and played that game.
Oh,
yes, they did.
Man, that's rough.
They did.
I don't blame them, though.
I mean, they'll probably just get fined and still be in the Big Ten, but whatever.
But that was disrespectful for them.
Absolutely. I mean, if you're an Indiana fan, I mean, how pissed would you be? Yeah. You're going to let a team that's probably better than you, but they couldn't get it done as an organization. They couldn't get you made the rule 6 games.
Yeah.
And then
they
changed it and put this team in front of your team because the conference thinks that they deserve it more. Whatever. I got a few choice words I'll save.
Exactly. What we got next?
Okay, after Jalen Waddle, Cincinnati. We touched on them earlier. You guys have anything to say about Cincinnati? Kwesi, let's hear it.
Oh!
Ding, ding, ding.
Go, Kwesi.
No, man, it was a great game. I know you're a Georgia fan, and I'm not trying to knock Georgia. Georgia was a great team, man. But I think Cincinnati had the upper hand and had the momentum going for them until this the offensive lineman for Cincinnati had he hit the guy late out of bounds and also got charged with targeting at the same time. So they kicked him out of the game. But once that happened, Cincinnati didn't score one more time off a run play, big play that just broke out. But after that, could not move the ball again. The quarterback was running for his life the whole time after that. Just nothing could happen after that. And every time they were coming from the same exact side that the offensive tackle got kicked out of. And his replacement had easily three.
He had 3 penalties, 3 false starts.
False starts. That just depleted the whole game and it definitely gave Georgia the momentum to win the game. Rightfully so. Not Georgia.
I agree. I agree completely. It was a very, very tough game.
That was such a huge play.
He put his team at a disadvantage acting stupid.
Yes.
That's what it was. All right. I got a couple things left, guys. Oklahoma. Anything on them? Punt or go for it?
I'll punt. I like Oklahoma. I like Big 12. I know Kwesi's a big advocate right now, Big 12. Other than that, I'll just punt it.
Hey, they're playing real good, but let's go for it.
Okay. Kind of follow in line with that last one. Dan Mullen. Anybody have anything on his comments after the game?
What did he say after the game?
Yeah.
I didn't watch to the end of it, and I didn't pay attention to it.
He said that his 2020 team.
I saw it.
Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, from what I saw, he basically said something to the degree that I caught was that was like a game that didn't matter because a couple of his players, their best offensive players, basically had sat out.
Yeah.
That they didn't care, and it wasn't like a big deal. It wasn't whatever. It was a whatever game, basically, to paraphrase very largely. What did he actually say, Andrew? If you've got a better one.
He said that his 2020 team played their last game in the SEC championship.
That's what it was.
They didn't even have to play that game. They didn't have to be there. They were doing so as a courtesy, this and that. But before the game, you can go to his Twitter account and look where he was excited to play such a prestigious New Year's Six Bowl.
Exactly. I'm just saying, is he gonna keep that same energy?
No.
If they had won the game, it really don't count. We played our third string guys,
that kind of crap.
Caitlin
you could have said it in a different way.
And I agree.
Exactly. You could have said that a completely different way, and it meant the same thing, but it didn't sound like you're being a bitch.
And I will say
you could have said something like, well, we put up the best fight that we could, give them all the praise they could. We had a couple of guys sit out. I wish they had played. We did the best we could. Kudos to them.
I will say one thing about Dan Mullen, and it's the only compliment I will ever give him. He actually says what he's thinking, and I'm not even sure it's necessarily a compliment, but we get coach speak a lot from coaches, and I get tired of hearing it over and over again. Dan Mullen's kind of a dummy, and he'll actually just tell you what he's thinking. Like he doesn't hold his cards up his sleeve, this and that. He just, if he thinks something, he says it. And I appreciate it, but at the same time, you're a moron and you're letting us know how much of a moron you are.
Exactly.
I'm really interested to see if he does end up going pro, there's pro teams that he's talking to, whatever. I'll be real interested to see how he interacts with grown men professionals, and more
Okay.
more to the point, his wife.
We got a comment that says, "Stay classy, Florida, and stop throwing shoes and making shady comments." Okay. Last topic, punter, go for it. Texas fired their head coach Tom Herman and have hired Steve Sarkisian. Any comments?
Yeah, I got a couple. Todd Herman, and at least on paper, is a better coach than Steve Sarkisian's ever been. Steve Sarkisian coached at Washington and USC.
And don't forget his time with the Falcons.
Oh yeah, and I won't even count the pro.
That was bad.
There's been a lot of great coaches fail up there. Most notably Saban and the old ball coach. What's his name? Spurrier. He failed big time with Washington. Anyway, shit, I forgot what I was saying. Dang it, Andrew, you got me off kilter.
USC and
Oh yeah, Steve Sarkisian's not even had a double-digit win
Season.
in a season. He's never had 10 or more wins as a head coach ever.
he keeps on getting jobs.
And I know he did it because Alabama's offense, right? He's the OC. Their offense is really good. The bad thing is that, and we've seen it in quite a few different spots, is these coaches that go to Bama, and they have all this talent that we've talked ad nauseum, right? We've already talked about it. Yeah, you could probably run any kind of damn offense that you want over there, and they've got athletes enough to where they're probably going to execute it, and it'll look really good. They're going to make you look great. And then you take the same system somewhere else, and you know your Jimmys and Joes over there probably not as good, and they don't play as good, and it just doesn't work out. So, and Todd Herman, I mean, the last 2 seasons weren't great, but he at least has a 10-win season at that university. So I think this is just the shiny new toy that they went and they fired him. They paid him a lot of money, by the way, too.
Wow.
Okay, Jeremy, cutting you off. Kwesi, anything?
No, man.
I was done.
He's like, no, Jeremy said it all.
It was. I mean, that was we'll see how that hire turns out for Texas, man. They need a good coach.
All right. Well, thank you all for joining us. So make sure you subscribe to our YouTube page, like our Facebook page. Make sure you share. We'd like to get some shares out there, and join us coming up for the Pro Ep.
Pro Ep.
So, yeah, guys. As
they
always,
haven't crowned the Heisman yet.
No, they haven't. I keep checking.
It's probably
who you guys think's going to win? I think it's Devontae Smith.
It looks like Devontae Smith, which I think he'll be the third receiver ever, if I'm not mistaken, to win it.
And the first since 1991.
It's pretty cool.
Hail to the victor.
Get out of here. Get.
Shut up.
Yes, sir.
Go for 3.
Go for 3.
Go for 3.
See y'all.
Like and
See y'all in the
subscribe.
NFL. Whoop, whoop. Let me get more drunk.